I appreciate you for having me here today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Uh, well, it looks like I forgot to clean up. We're recording a little earlier than I expected, and I got these kids blocks on the table.
I thought
Uh,
it was just decor. It looks
well,
good.
yeah. So I'm currently making a TV show for children, and
Sweet.
yeah, I had to get some of these blocks so I could talk to them properly. I got reps on the table. REPS, reps spells reps. Trying to get them learning how to lift weights right out of the womb, you know?
Same here. Probably most important thing to do.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, Joey, welcome to Reppin Fitness.
Brick Headstrong! Brick Headstrong! He's got the reps to you! He's got the reps to you! Brick Headstrong!
Have you been to the gym today?
Of course, what else would you do on a Monday?
All
What else
right.
would you do on a Monday if you don't go to the gym and at least hit one exercise for your chest?
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. My current program, though, for whatever reason, I have leg day on Monday. I put it off. I haven't been there yet.
That's a bad program.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I might change my program. You're right. But what'd you do today? You said you did chest?
Yeah. So I jokingly, I do full body training. So I go
Oh.
Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays right now. Do full body training. So I do at least one exercise for my chest on each of the days. And the reason why I'm only going 3 times right now is because I have a 5-month-old baby. So sleep is not the best. Work's been busy. So
Oh.
3 days a week is all I got right now.
Well, that makes sense. Oh, I hear him.
Yeah, yeah. That's my 2-year-old. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-month-old.
Oh, maybe I'll have him on as a guest after
Yeah.
this is over.
I don't know if he'll make much sense, but at the very least, it'll be a very good time.
Sometimes I don't make much sense, but hey, we're on Reppin Fitness, you know. But do you remember the first time you went to the gym?
The first time, man, not the first time, but I've been at the gym for a long time because my mom always went to the gym regularly. So I grew
Oh,
up on the gym floor pretty much in the daycare section. The owner of the gym was my mom's really good friend, and it was also her personal trainer. And I was really good friends with her kids. So I was probably in the gym when I was 4 or 5 years old, like
4 or
pretty
5.
consistently. Yeah.
Wow. Dang. Well,
The biceps don't reflect it, but I've been there for a long time.
we'll have to take a look later. We'll have to take a look
All
at
right.
them
All right.
later. I'll let you know if they pass the brick test. But
After we stop
anyways,
recording.
okay. But hey, this is Reppin Fitness. We got to talk about reps, all right? You're at the
Let's
gym
do it.
today. What rep ranges do you find yourself in? And what do you think's most effective?
Yeah, so I could probably talk about this for a while, but I think in general, a wide range of different reps is most effective. And
Right.
so, what I like to do, Brick, is I usually, every time I go into a workout, I switch up what body part I do first, since I'm
Oh,
doing full body right now. And then I will just go through different rep ranges for each of the different muscle groups.
ooh, I
So, I'll
like
start
that.
heavy, probably 4 to 6, because I like doing something heavy. Then I'll go to 8 to 10, then I'll go to 10 to 12, and then 12 to 15 towards the end of the workout and
Nice.
kind of just alternate them so I get all the rep ranges for all the exercises. In,
Oh, the rep ranges. I love
yeah,
it.
in general, I don't like going past over like 15 just because it feels more like cardio than anything else, honestly. Unless I'm doing some arms or something like that, and I'll do some high reps.
Oh, I like that. I like that. But hey, Brick's not trying to cut any weight right now. But let's pretend. Let's pretend I am, right? What's
Sure.
the first thing you try to understand when someone tells you they want to lose some weight?
So, what's the first thing I want to understand when somebody's trying to lose some weight? The first thing is probably why do they want to lose weight in the first place? Because I
Right.
think that would kind of guide the direction and recommendations that I might share with them.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. There's a lot of options out there, though. A lot of ways you can lose weight. Let me think. Low carb, right? People could fast. Maybe keto is pretty popular now, right? The meat diet. Um,
The carnivore diet.
carnivore, the carnivores. Yeah. And what else is there? There's also like people put all the vegetables and fruit inside of a blender and they juice it. That's pretty popular, right? They like doing that
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah.
Now, how do you help someone figure it out? What's right for them?
Yeah. So I typically don't encourage any of those.
Oh, no?
No,
Why not?
not at all. Well, no diet inherently causes weight loss. So
Oh.
if you lose weight on a diet, it's not because of the diet itself. It's essentially because you reduced how many calories you're consuming. And we
Right.
can go into that if you'd like. But I typically don't recommend any of those diets for a pretty simple reason. Most of them are defined around what foods you should eat that are quote unquote good foods and what foods you shouldn't eat, which are quote unquote bad foods, which
Hmm.
creates a lot of like black and white thinking around food that's completely unnecessary. For a lot of people, it causes a lot of stress. They feel bad if they eat certain foods. And I just don't think it's healthy and sustainable long term. So, my general approach is teaching people how to have a healthy and sustainable diet, how to include the foods that they like, but also how to meet their nutritional needs, make it enjoyable, make it sustainable, so that because the goal isn't just losing weight. For a lot of people, it's losing weight and keeping it off. And the
Right.
keeping it off piece is the difficult part, which is where I think many of those diets lack in terms of sustainability.
Right. Brick's done keto, and I've only
Brick's done
done
keto.
it.
I'm sure Brick's done keto and
Oh,
carnivore.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I love the meat. I eat meat all the time. But what actually works then when it comes to long-term weight loss? We're trying to keep it off.
Yeah. So a lot to talk about. If we want to talk about specifically nutrition, what really works, I think the goal is developing healthy nutritional habits that help you manage your hunger. Oftentimes, people struggle with eating less because they feel hungry, they have cravings, right? So,
Right, right.
when it comes to managing hunger, we could get super nerdy about this, but if we just keep it simple, in general, we want to eat more whole foods. Whole
Whole
foods
foods.
help regulate hunger more than processed foods, right? Example would be an apple versus apple flavored candy, right? Like,
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, exactly. The whole food is definitely going to keep you fuller for longer, which is good. We also want to eat things that are high in protein and fiber. So protein can be things like meat, chicken, beef, fish. There are like non-animal based protein sources too. Like nuts and seeds are pretty good sources of protein. Beans are pretty good sources of protein, and then fiber, because fiber also helps keep us full the same way protein does. I would typically recommend trying to double down on those sorts of foods as much as possible. And then, I mean, there are a number of different habits we could focus on. But beyond that, I would encourage people to learn about the caloric intake of food, what calories are, how many calories they should be eating, maybe learning about tracking their food. I think that's a pretty good starting point for most people.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on caloric intake? What are
Sure.
calories?
Sure. So if you look at the food label, right, it typically says how many calories something has. It'll say
Oh,
how
yeah.
much fat it has, how many carbs it has. Calories aren't an actual thing. They're not a tangible thing. Like carbs are a tangible thing. They're in food. Protein is in food. Calories are just a measure of how much energy the food has. Okay. I
Oh,
think a
okay,
very
okay.
simple analogy here, Brick, is just like, how when you're in your car and it's the speedometer says you're going 30 miles per hour, but
Right.
miles per hour it's not a thing, it's a measure of velocity or speed, right?
Oh,
Calories are a measure of energy. And why is this important? Because we can measure how much energy we eat in a particular day as number of calories. And our body also burns off a number of calories every day because we use energy, right? And this whole concept of calories in versus calories out is pretty simple. It simply states that if you eat more calories than your body burns, then that excess energy, your body stores it as body fat and you gain weight. And the opposite is also true. If you eat less calories or you eat less energy than your body burns, then your body still needs that difference. So it's going to get it from stored energy, which is your body fat. And that's how you gain or lose weight, depending on how many calories you eat.
oh. So what you're saying then is if I eat less calories than I need in a day, I'll lose some weight.
Exactly.
But if I eat too many, I'm going to get fat.
Exactly.
Or is that not true?
Yes, it is true. Depending on how many, like getting fat is can be an extreme term, right? Because if you just eat too many calories in one day, nothing's going to happen.
Right.
If you eat too many calories over weeks and months, then you'll gain some substantial weight. Yeah.
Now, I got some clients, right? Human clients, and I've been working with one for about 6 months now. We spent 4 months developing a calorie deficit, and I
Sure.
got him down. I got him real down. Got him down to like 12% body fat. It's been crazy to see this guy shred, right? He's all shredded. But now he's asking me, he wants more food. He wants to eat more. And
Yeah.
he said that a lot of the time he feels like he's making emotional decisions where he's decided, had a long day at work. So I don't want to make food for myself. I want somebody else to make it. But that's bad, right? Sometimes that's bad because then I don't have any control over what they're putting in that food. And then I might be off my plan. What do you think about that? What do you think about emotional eating?
Yeah. Okay. So obviously we eat for a number of different reasons, right, Brick?
Right,
It's not just because we're hungry. It's not just because we need nutrition. Food is a social thing. Food is an emotional thing.
Ice cream.
Yeah, exactly. I think people eat quote unquote emotionally for a number of reasons. I do think sometimes people could benefit from working with an emotional eating expert if they struggle with emotional eating beyond just the surface level. But sometimes we eat out of emotions because we're stressed, because we're sad. Sometimes people just use food as a mechanism to cope with their emotions and feelings, right? And I think what's helpful, Brick, is in those situations, identify the behavior that we're using to cope with the particular emotion that we're feeling, right? And really be mindful and aware of that, and then come up with strategies that could help mitigate that. So, for example, in the particular case that you're sharing of your client being at 12% body fat, I think it could be a number of things. Maybe it's that he's done cutting weight and he doesn't want to get any leaner, right? Does he want to go from 12% to 10%, or does he just want to stay at 12? Because if he wants to stay at 12, then he could just eat a little bit more food. Maybe he wants to go a little bit higher to 13 or 14 and felt better there. So that's might be one of the reasons why he's eating more food. Maybe he's lost motivation to achieve his goals, so he's being a little bit more flexible with his diet. Maybe he's under a lot of stress. So I think what's necessary, Brick, and I know the question was, what do I think about emotional eating? But the truth is that it depends on the reason why they're struggling with emotional eating to be able to then give appropriate recommendations. I think it's the same as the question you asked me at the beginning, which was, what's the first thing I try to understand when somebody wants to lose weight? And it's like, well, it really depends on why they want to lose weight in the first place, because the conversation is going to go in a different direction.
Yeah, you got to know their why. A lot of people get started. They don't know why. Maybe they don't like what they look like in the mirror, or maybe they heard something from somebody else, or maybe they just they got motivated from somebody at work. Somebody else is working out. They decided, you know what? I got to start taking care of myself too. But you had mentioned stress, right? How much do you think this is tied to stress or sleep or maybe just a lifestyle? Maybe they got friends that are all drinking, so they feel like they got to drink. What do you think? How much of it is that? How much is it the outside interference?
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. And I see this all the time when we work with clients. Like, I feel like oftentimes when people hire a coach or a trainer, they think they simply need a better plan. Like, tell me what to eat, tell me what to do with my exercise. But the truth is, Brick, most people know they need to eat a little bit healthier and exercise a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
And they know what eating healthier looks like, and they know what exercising looks like. It's not perfect, but they know they got to do it. The thing is, they're not doing it for some particular reason. And that particular reason sometimes can be, for example, emotional, them getting in their own way, or it can be external variables like their friends, their lifestyle, a stressful job, shift work, so they don't sleep well, You mentioned sleep. Sleep has a huge impact on our eating behaviors. There's really good science showing that if you don't sleep well, you're hungrier, you have more cravings for junk food, essentially. So it makes it harder, right? Especially if you're trying to eat a little bit healthier. With a lot of the clients that we work with, it's really talking about the lifestyle stuff that has a huge benefit for them because they've never had those conversations, right? I've had conversations with clients a number of times where they're like, man, I do really well throughout the week, but then my friends want to go out to a bar and have some drinks on the weekend. And then after I have a couple of drinks, I kind of just like don't have any restraint and I eat whatever and I go way overboard and then I feel bad about it. So Monday morning comes around and I'm perfect again. And then the cycle repeats itself. It's like, well, maybe instead of trying to like eat healthier during the week, you just have to talk to your friends about this stuff and express how their behaviors are impacting you. or be strong enough to have certain boundaries and say, I'm not doing that. Because I want to do this. The lifestyle stuff is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you know this, but the word diet derives from the word dieta, which means way of life or lifestyle.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Is that Latin?
Yeah, I think so. It's not brick. I know that, but I read that once. I was kind of surprised by it because it feels like if you say, hey, you just need to make some lifestyle changes, maybe that would hit a little bit better than the bad word called diet. People don't like saying that word. You know, it sounds like you're restrictive, but really, you're just trying to improve your life.
Yeah, I like that perspective. The issue is that when you tell somebody that they need to improve their lifestyle, it's just not like a flashy, attractive thing to want to do. But a new diet is very attractive.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, you got to tell me. Now, we're on Reppin Fitness here. Man, this has been fun. It's been fun already. Now, what's your take on calorie or macro tracking versus maybe just being more intuitive with your approach to eating? Do you like tracking?
So I personally don't track at the moment. I did track for years. I did track for years when I was younger, though. Most people think it's one or the other, right? And the thing is, it's not one or the other. I think both are really important, and they both have a time and place. I think the ultimate goal, Brick, is long-term to eat intuitively and be healthy and be in shape and be confident with the way your body looks without having to track every single little thing. That's the goal for me, at least.
Right.
I will say some people enjoy tracking long-term. I have a lot of friends who have been tracking for years and they continue to, because for them, it allows them to have a little bit more freedom. For me, like, I'm fine not tracking and maybe not being, 10% body fat or anything like that year round. That said, I think in order to be able to get to the point where you can eat intuitively and maintain your results, you have to track for a period of time, because tracking is a tool to develop that skill, right? It's like, how can you learn how to eat intuitively and stay in shape if at the moment you eat intuitively and you're in a place where you're not happy with where your body is? Your intuition has led you to where you are at the moment, right? So I think tracking is an important tool to rewire your intuition, to develop the habits and skills that you need to develop in order to be in the body and health that you want to be in. So that's my general take there. I think it's a very useful tool. Dedicating probably 6 months to tracking very consistently is something super helpful. I think most people should do.
6 months.
I
think that's a good tip. Yeah, because when you're first getting started, you just got to know what's going on. If you've never been tracking and you're just eating whatever you feel like, you might be eating some stuff and not realizing it. And then when you look at it for a couple months at a time, then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I got to put down the cookies. Got to stop eating cookies all the time.
Exactly.
They sneak up on you. 1 turns into 6 pretty quick.
Especially if they're chocolate chip.
Oh, tell me about it. I got a panda bear named Pan. I was trying to talk him off the cliff. He was going nuts with them chocolate chip cookies. But I got to get back to him about that. But anyways, now tell me about your company. Now, do you have any clients that have any sort of wild or crazy things that they were trying to do when they came into your program?
Yeah, I would say the majority of them from a diet perspective.
What were they trying?
Well, I think it depends on what you consider nuts, right? Like keto and fasting and stuff like that. Like it's pretty common, if we could go a little bit more extreme and saying like some clients have tried things like juice cleanses and all sorts of ridiculous things.
Oh, with that lemon juice and the honey, that type of one?
Like with the cayenne and the ginger.
Oh, yeah. Does that stuff work?
Wrecks your stomach.
Does that work?
For what?
For losing weight?
No.
I
always ask for what, because the context matters. If you said, does it work for like constipation? I'd probably say, yeah.
Oh, I don't want that. I don't want that at all.
No, it helps with constipation.
Oh, it does?
I mean, could you imagine just eating a bunch of ginger, lemon, and cayenne pepper, what it would do to your stomach?
I don't know. I don't want to do that.
It might be a good experiment for you, Brick.
Maybe. I'll give it a shot, I guess. You talked me right into it already. Well, you told me not to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing that. I told you I wanted to talk about this because I see it's really popular right now, right? Ozempic. People are doing Ozempic. I don't know what that is. Can you tell me a little about that?
Sure. So Ozempic is a weight loss medication. And the way it works is Ozempic is what's called a GLP-1 agonist. And GLP-1 is a hormone that makes you feel full. Okay?
Oh,
An agonist simply just means it works similar to GLP-1. So when you take Ozempic, it just makes you feel really full. It
okay.
slows down digestion. It actually helps with insulin secretion. Insulin's a hormone associated with blood sugar regulation. Anyways, Ozempic just makes you feel full, slows down digestion, so it makes you eat less.
That
Is it
sounds good.
effective? Yeah. Is it effective? It's extremely effective for weight loss specifically. Are there some potential side effects? Yes. I think there's potential side effects with any sort of medication. Whether it's good or bad, again, depends on context, right? It
Right.
depends on what the person's situation is and whether the pros outweigh the negatives. I will say the benefits of Ozempic are not unique by any means. Like, you can achieve the same results through diet and exercise. And even for somebody using Ozempic, they should still try to simultaneously work on diet and exercise, because if not, one, you likely have to be on medication forever. Some people are okay with that. Some people don't want to be on medication forever. And
I
two,
don't.
it's not, yeah, exactly. And it's also not just about losing weight, it's about being healthy, right? And all weight loss is not the same, because if you're not exercising, if you're not eating correctly, if you're not prioritizing lifestyle things that you mentioned, like stress and sleep, you could lose a lot of weight, but a lot of it might be muscle mass. And muscle mass is really important for health. So we want to be doing these things to take care of our health, in addition to taking medication if you are taking medication.
You mean this thing will make me lose weight, but my muscles?
Only if you don't lift. Only if you don't.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I'll be lifting shortly. I can't believe it's leg day. I cannot believe it's leg day. It's a Monday. Who did
What are you
this?
going to hit? What are you going to hit?
Unbelievable.
Some squats?
Yeah, squats. I got leg presses, and then I got leg extensions. I just, not looking forward to it, you know?
Brick, show us the calves. Let's see the calves.
Not on camera. Not on camera.
All right.
I'll show you after. I'll show you after. You know, I'll show you after. But let me wrap this up with this. Let me ask you this.
Sure.
What should people stay away from? What kind of diets should people stay away from?
Literally any diet with a name. uh, like keto, paleo, like it's not that you have. Some are worse than others. Like a paleo diet is not an unhealthy diet by any means. But I think when people blindly follow a diet that is just a strict set of rules around eat these foods and don't eat those foods, that is setting yourself up for long-term failure, because you're not learning about what a healthy and sustainable diet is. None of these diets teach you how to be flexible and how to enjoy real life. If you go to a birthday or you travel, like, what do you do? What do you do if you can't have the specific lunch you're trying to have on your diet, and you go to a birthday party and eat a piece of cake? Like, I think it's very important for people to learn about healthy dietary behaviors rather than following a particular diet blindly.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good tip. So what you're saying is calories in, calories out. If the calories are under what you're supposed to be, you're going to lose some weight. But if they're above, you're going to gain some weight. How do I know what my starting point is?
Yeah, I will also add to that that's not all I'm saying, because although calories matter, diet quality matters too.
Oh,
So I would say, like,
the
calories
food in.
versus, yeah, like what I'm saying is that if we want to have a healthy diet, it's also not just, because people argue, like, do you just eat healthy foods or do you just track calories? And it's like both. You know, they both matter.
Yeah.
Like, calories matter, but also what we eat matters, because I mentioned earlier that regulates your hunger, that makes sure you meet your nutritional needs. In terms of figuring out where to start when it comes to calories, Brick, it's pretty easy. If you Google, like, calorie calculators, there are some that will just estimate more or less where you should be. The easiest way is to just track your calories and track your weight. And if your weight is staying stable for like 2 weeks, right, then you know that the calories that you're at is your maintenance calories, which simply means the calories that you need to keep your weight. And if you want to lose weight, you just drop them a little bit, maybe drop them 200 calories, 300 calories, see what happens there. Don't make changes because of fluctuations in your weight from day to day. Like, really look at 7-day averages, and that will give you a better picture. If it's trending in the right direction week after week, then you don't make any changes. If it's not moving, you drop your calories a little more. That's my general recommendation.
Interesting. Now, what do you think? Is it possible to lose body fat and gain muscle at the same time?
100%. Yeah, I have
Whoa.
a great YouTube video on this. I also just republished the same podcast episode on this topic literally today.
Whoa. I'll have to check
Yeah,
that
it's
out.
very possible. It's very, very possible. Now, you're not going to turn into a pro level bodybuilder, like losing weight and building muscle at the same time. Obviously, dedicated phases to build muscle, dedicated phases to lose body fat will help you progress optimally for the particular goal. But the vast majority of people are not very well trained. The vast majority of people can optimize their recovery better when it comes to diet, when it comes to sleep, stress management. The vast majority of people can optimize or improve the effectiveness of their training, right? Like most people kind of train, they do a set and they're talking to their friend, and then between sets they're on their phone. Like that's not very effective training.
No,
So if you
no,
can,
no, no.
yeah, if you can improve your lifestyle, your nutrition, your training, you can definitely build muscle while losing some body fat at the same time.
Well, that's a good tip. That's good to know. Because I'd like to put some size on, but I want to keep my abs, I worked hard for them. I don't want them to go away because I ate too many cookies. But hey, Joey, who inspired you to get into fitness? Was it your mom or somebody else?
Yeah. I mean, I think originally, like, just growing up in the gym.
Oh, yeah.
My dad was into working out. My mom was into working out. I would say, aside from my parents watching some Dragon Ball Z as a kid, like seeing Goku doing some push-ups, I was like, yeah, I need to get jacked. And I've had a couple of other key figures in my life, but I would say those are the original ones.
Goku? Is that what you said?
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. Shout out to Goku.
Do you know how many jacked people there are because of Goku?
Yeah, I'd like to help out like that. Anyways, Joey, thanks for being a guest on Reppin Fitness.
I appreciate you for having me. This was a ton of fun.
Yeah. Now, before we go, what's something we can do to get stronger without needing the gym? Activities, exercises, what's the tip?
Bodyweight exercises are great. If you're talking about getting physically stronger, I mean, you can't really beat things like push-up and pull-ups for the upper body. And for the lower body, I mean, starting with bodyweight squats is great. Progressing to doing some single leg stuff like the Bulgarian split squats or lunges, those are great. You can get really strong doing those things. And then if you have some sandbags, you're set. That's all you need.
Set. I love it. That's a great one. I know what I'm doing next. And unfortunately, it's legs. It's not that. But hey, thanks for watching Reppin Fitness, and we'll see you on the next Repisode.